So the point that he's saying here is that the avodah of Shmini Atzeres, Simchas Torah, which is Yisrael Malka Bilchadohi, Yid and Eibishter alone, Par Echad Ayal Echad, we're no longer bringing korbanos on behalf of the Shivim Umois. So this doesn't mean disconnect from the world. Adarabah. On the contrary, this is the ultimate birur, the ultimate dira betachtoinim, because till now, Hallelu Hashem kol goyim shabchu kol omim, the world itself is in, to some degree, still in Mitzias, but it's contributing to the dira, meaning, as the pasuk itself says, they're praising and singing Hashem. But they're still the Mitzias. So as we suggested yesterday, the beard is, as Beistel explained elsewhere in Siddur, that the relationship that creation can have with the Creator is just that, is Creator. Bereshis Boda Elikim. But now we're talking here, the end of Emes Havaya La'olam. So their connection is Bereshis Boda Elikim. So there's a creator, and they are the created, and there's a relative value. The art that the artist produces, which is an expression of him, of the artist, is a mitzias. On the contrary, it's the expression of the artistic talent of the artist. It's going to be bottled to him, but has no independent reality. He produced it. But it's an expression of him, meaning to say that it has value. On the contrary, the more you look at the art, the more you appreciate the artist. That's Shem Elikim. That's the Hallelu and the Teshapchu, the two levels he explained. The Birur Hara, the elevation of the spark into holiness. And what level of holiness are we talking about? Shem Elikim. That's the level of holiness that the Nitzis Kedusha is absorbed. Shapchu Kol Omim means even that the Gashmis itself contributes to the praise and expression of godliness. But again, it's the Eibishter's creator. V'omdu Zorim, as actually is implied by the pasuk, V'omdu Zorim v'rot Zorim, what are they doing? They're pasturing your flock. So the yonim of Teva that a Yid has, this is even Lasid Lavai, his natural possessions, his flock. So they are pasturing it. And that's all a level of a mitzias. Again, to understand this, it means a relationship with God as creator. But that's as far as it can possibly go. And that's all the hachana. The hachana is the absolute bittul. And the hachana is when the world faces the Eibishter beyond creator. And how do they face and where do they face the Eibishter beyond creator? In his singular dance with the Yid. Why? Because the neshama is Moshe Shenatzmas beyond creation. So Yisrael Malka Bilchadohi, the rest of the world cannot be there as participants, but can just, and we will be, in the greatest awe and wonder and bittul. The Moishe we used yesterday was what's the song being sung. Let's talk about a good Moishe, because the first song is a song of creation. And the second song is the song of Neshamas Yisrael, which creation cannot sing, but just reflect. Just reflect. So that's the ultimate bittul. The ultimate bittul is that the world knows that the only true reality, which is the cause for everything else, Bereshis, because of Beis, Reishis. Takir Bereshis Bar Elikim, but why? Because of Beis. As I actually explained, should have said Reishis, not Bereshis. Because the world has to know the end, and that's only in this gal at the very, very end, that this whole Reishis and the Elikim, everything, this whole creation, is because of the two Reishis, the two beginnings, and that's Eden and Torah. And with the Yidden in Torah itself, it's the Yid. Torah is there to reveal that essential connection that a Yid has with the Eibishter. That's the Yisrael, the Malka B'Chadoi. That's Simchas Torah. As we explained on Simchas Torah, that the Frierdiker Rebbe said that the Torah wants to dance. What does it mean the Torah wants to dance? That's simple meaning of Simchas Torah. That's the Simcha of the Torah. It's two types. There's our joy with the Torah or the Torah's joy. So why does the Torah want to dance? Because the Torah knows that its whole mitzvah is only because of the Yid. So if you don't dance with me, then I'm nothing. We gave a mashal. I didn't spell it out exactly this way, which I'm going to tell you now. Was a mashal of a king, a person who makes a very elaborate, invests a very elaborate, expensive gift for his beloved, a person, and she rejects it. The beloved not interested. So that gift is a source of pain. It's a source of pain. It's all for you, and you don't want it. That's when Moishe Rabbeinu broke the luchas, and that's the final statement of Torah. Is Moishe breaking the luchas? He didn't have rejected it, and God said, "I don't need this. No, I don't need this. It's painful. It's all for you." When a Yid dances with the Torah, then Torah is Torah, right? Hashem doesn't need tefillin, doesn't need Shabbos, doesn't need kosher. He needs you to put on the tefillin, and you to keep kosher, and you to keep kosher. That's what he needs. And if not, doesn't need the tefillin. Break it. Cast it down. That Rebbe is very ridiculous. Tavshim Memvav. 40 years ago. Simchas Torah. That's how Torah ends. Yashakoyach Shibarata. Le'ini Kol Yisrael. What did he do in the eyes of all Yidden? He broke the luchas. That's how Torah ends. Torah says it's all you. It's all Neshamas Yisrael. That's the whole kavanah. It's a very big thing when you consider this, my dear friends. This is, the Torah's final, ultimate statement, and who revealed it, the Rebbe. Why? Because now, before Bias and Mashiach, now is the time for the Pnimius HaKavanah to be revealed. And the world, of course, is agitating with this and saying it. That the Yid. Now, so that's it. So that's the end is. So now the touching the pasuk now. She's touching it now. Hallelu Hashem kol gim shabcho kolam. That's you go over Hallelu Chazah, the first touches, because since we're coming after Yom Kippur, so the Yid is distracted from the world. So now we can be pale the beer in the world on the two levels of Hallelu, elevating the sparks, and then shabcho, even the Gashmius in an external way, contributing to the revelation of godliness, hence their song and praise. And then the second touch is Goverleno Chazda, goes on what? That biro then leads us to the ultimate. That's the final stage. And the Gover Aleinu, our Simcha, is elevated to the Simcha of Yisrael, that the world is now ready. It doesn't stand in the way. And the world is ready to reflect our Simcha with the Eibishter alone. Gover Aleinu Chazda, that's our Simcha. That's the second explanation. Not the achana, but the result. Not the achana of the bir of the Musaylam, Yom Kippur, but the result of the bir of Shmini Atzeres. And once revealed, then Vemes Havayla. Okay. Vav, Ois Vav. So the holding in of Sukkos and Shmini Atzeres is explained in Medrash. But the Zohar has it a little bit differently. Let's see.
Did we finish Ois Vav till the end? Oisei?
Yeah, Evmekir Tizak, the Kapis Mates, Anena. Yeah, we finished it, definitely.
Okay.
So the Moshe says, Mosul means Moshel. The Malka, the Zamin business, the king invited guests. So the members of his of his palace were all working to make this meal. The boss at the end, Amo Malka, the king said, Ad kan anov asan ishtadalno kulu bushbizi. So he said, no, not the boss at the end, so afterwards. Afterwards, the king said, so first of all, they prepared the palace. Then the king said, this is the end of the meal already. So end of the meal. So till now, I and you, we were mishtadl. We worked, all of us, bush in for the guests. Every kid was some karbonin, and we bought karbonis hashar amid b'chol yom before the nations of the world every day. This is the end of the meal. So he says to the bnei, this is the bnei heichole, the people of the palace. He says, Klal Yisrael, this is Neshamas Yisrael. So we were busy till now, says the Melech, looking after our guests and bringing karbonis every day for them. But from now on, this is Shmiyat Zeres, you and I and you will make one day. That's the meaning of the pasuk. The 8th day should be for you and not the rest of the ummahs. So what's the diak of Ivahaino? I mean, this was a shaila really he asked in the previous Maimon. That the Zohar says, it's actually another Zohar. No, it's this one. Let's see. All the people that he's inviting from the realm are called guests. This is the shaila he's going to ask again. Now that he asked in the previous Maimon in the movement, elsewhere in the Zohar it says, who are the guests? Not the ummahs. For the 7 days of Sukkot, they are the eternal, the elevated, what's what I'm looking for? Guests, supernal guests. Shem Avos Olam, the fathers of the world. So who are the guests? Avos Olam or the Avos? That Zohar we just quoted now, two separate Zohars, contradicts the previous Zohar. She was visiting him called Bnei Medina. Who are the guests? Are the nations of the world? But the matter is, in light of all that we explained, the general idea that Shavas Olam, Nikolai Mishem was busy, why they're called guests. That's explained anyway. Why are they called guests? The guests of Asuka. Well, they're foreigners. They're called guests because that's alluding to and connecting to their effect in the refinement of the Masa'ila, called Bnei Medina. Why guests? Because it's a temporary birra. In the end, it's done. I made a bigger explanation. They're called guests in the sense that this is the Avos, or the Eden, the Shamas Yisrael. This is the birra, the refinement of the nations of the world that ends. Done the job, and then you saw the Malka B'Chadai. Eden and the Eibishter alone. Well, how do we see that they're connected with the birra of the world? The first guest, Avram, Echadai Avram. Avram is called one. It's Pasuk in Yecheskel, meaning because he revealed the oneness of Hashem to the world. About him it says, V'ikra b'shem Hashem. He built a mizbech and he called in the name of God, Kel Olam, God of the world. Atikra v'yikra. There's the matter. It's not simply he called out that there's a God of the world. That v'yakri called others. V'lamed shehikri Avram Avinu l'shmoi shlokish baruch v'fnei kol oiv v'shav. He caused God's name to be called upon by all people traveling through and from. He would serve them food, and so we all know the story. And he prayed that they should thank and praise the Misham Vayel, to the one who said and brought the world into existence. That was Avram, and so too all of the Adosh in each one of them, we see in their lives the tremendous effect in the world. And it's called Ushpizin because it's a temporary, it's a guest, Avodah. It's not who we are, it's our shlichus. And at the end, what's revealed is the pnimius of who we are. That's the whole purpose of the shlichus. So David the Melech, the seventh one, he's the author of Tehillim, who said the culmination of their avodah, Hallelu, Hashem kol goyim shabchu kol omim. And he now explains Hashem zenikra ushpizim. That's what they call the guests, and that explains the connection to that the two zoyas are not in contradiction. Who's coming the Umas Olam and who's coming the Avos? Because the Avos, that means the Shamas Yisrael, that's the Bnei Yicholei, Bnei Hechlei, Bnei Yicholah, that elevate the world, and it's Ushpizin. Why Ushpizin? Ushpizin, like a geshen barak the prokim when it comes on occasion. Given sheklolos inyan aberudim sheyuchluchul v'yalu b'likus, the whole avodah to refine and elevate the world, ein ela leprakim, it's only temporary. It's only the prakim in certain times, but by that it means it's temporary. And it also implies that when we do that, we're going away from who we are. We're descending into the tachten to elevate him, leprakim. But Shmini Atzeres, that's the Yid who he is. I know, like if Hashem was Shpizin, it's like Shabbos and Yom Tov is a taste of this. B'chlal, every Shabbos and Yom Tov, davening in the morning, and you go out to the world, you're on Ushpiza. But when you're davening and you're doing a mitzvah, you're engaging Kedusha directly with Eibishter, that you're not a guest there. That's who you are. You're at home there. Heinrich Vishem Ushpizin, this is like Vishem Ushpizin, Hashem Pulos and Bibiraylam. Shmini Atzeres is not the way Yidden are a guest, which means the way they are adventuring into the world. Like Vishem B'nei Heichel B'tmidah says they are forever children of the palace. Or in a simple word, princes. Therefore, Mishmeretz Simchas Torah is part echad, ayel echad, one ox, one ram, connected to yichida, corresponding to the singular people. Shezeo inyan ki govar aleinu chazdoi. That's the taich now. Aleinu, not the umas. Aleinu dafka. Ella shegam ezen nimshach ba'olam, but it's not like the rest of the world is precluded. The whole point is that this oneness happens where betachtoinim. So it does. It's revealed in the world. Shezaring ve'emes havaya lo'olam, but that truth is revealed and expressed in all of existence. Ve'emes havaya, as we explained, not hide and Shem Balikim, which is what they're connected to, but it is mamshich v'alayich hizrach havaya. It is mamshich Shem havaya in the world. Oy Zion. And this is the whole Simchas Torah Shem B'Chedesh Tishrei, which is much of Tishrei. And Tishrei is Oisies Reishis, the beginning, same letters of the word Reishis, Kiyodua. As is known to call me, all the Yom Tovim of the month of Tishrei, Moedim Kloliyim, as opposed to other Yom Tovim, which are local holidays as they were for that particular time. Tishrei is not. They are general Yomim Tovim, Shinyoneim, Nimshochim, they're all part of the head, the beginning, Reishis. The Inyan is Nimshach, where I'll call Hashanah Kula for the whole year. Heichel begin with Rosh Hashanah, starting with Rosh Hashanah, Shemen and Nimshach, Kol Hashanah, and Kabbalah Soil. You've got to get in a few words here. What we're bringing with us now. From Rosh Hashanah, what does a Yid bring into the world, into his life, into the world for the whole year? Kabbalah Soil. Likewise, Yom Kippur, what does he bring into the whole avoid of the year? Inyan HaTshuva. So for Yom Kippur, he brings the Inyan of Tshuva into the year. And the giving of the second luchas that happened on Yom Kippur. What is a yid being bamshe from Sukkot? V'chein b'chag v'Sukkot shvinyat tzeret v'schwas Torah zman simchoseinu shemem nimshach hakol hashana kula. From these we're drawing into the whole year. Inyan the simcha shel mitzvah, the simcha in the performance of a mitzvah, but proper simchas Torah, and especially culminating, climaxing in simchas Torah, k'minig Yisrael, as the minigish of Simchas Torah, Simcha is Gabrus Gedoyle B'Yosef. The Simcha is very intense. The intensity of the Chesed, and where Aleinu Dafka us alone. This is a simcha that happens after having refined the world that they could have signed him through the 70 oxen, and having affected within them already the Halus Hashem called and how do we do that? Because the first touch in Gova, because they wish to cleanse us with the Gilum Bidus on Yom Kippur. And that enabled us to be pale, the refinement of the world. And that's how we're able to affect the refinement of the world. Yiddish explained this more, beginning of the Maamar and also the previous Maamar, that the first day of Sukkot is the 13 parim corresponding to the 13 Midas Harachamim. So that's born the first day of Sukkot. That's the first birur, which is hide and seichel. And it comes down in the Pnimius, all the way down to the 7. That's the 7 midas, the 7 parim that are brought on Shavuos, on the 7th day of Sukkot, in Shana Rabbah. But the days in Nasing in the Gavraleinu Chazdo, then that leads to the intense Simcha of Shminat Tzeres, Shebei Makrivim Parechad Vayel Echad, one par and one ayel, now V'yesh L'Hoisiv. Not said anywhere that the connection between Yom Kippur and Shminat Tzeres, this also, the korban that we bring is also a result of Yom Kippur, this closeness that we have. He's saying that Yom Kippur not only empowers us to elevate the world, but Yom Kippur and Yom Kippur also gives us the koach to reveal that essential closeness and oneness. Hence, on Yom Kippur too, we only bring the Kohen Gadol brings par echad ayel echad. So already in Yom Kippur is there fleetingly for a moment in the Ila, whole Yom Kippur, the Inyan of Yisrael Malka b'Chadoy, but it comes out bis galus in Simcha on Shmini Atzeres, and the whole world is bottled betzias to this Simcha. So then comes clear. So it's not just the empowerment for the Birur. Yom Kippur already there, that essential connection was already reforged and stirred in an ever-deepening way. So now comes Shminat Tzeres, Kenegeduma Yechida, corresponding to the singular people, Yisol Malka B'Chudohi, Yidden and the king alone, V'haino, all meanings, as Nimshachim is Gala Inyan. What's revealed, drawn and revealed on Shminat Tzeres, it is the following of, as expressed in the pasuk, Yivcha Lonas Tachal Aseinu. There's different meanings to this, but the taich is that Hashem chose us as His inheritance, as His lot. Bchira, from Atzmos. When do we say that? Tkiya Shofar. Do we say this? One of the psukim that we say before Tkiya Shofar in Perek Mem Zayim of Tilim. Sorry. Yeah. I'm not saying from the Kerech Mizmer. The noise of Allah Gilu B'Chag HaSukkah, so in brackets he adds, in addition to the Gilu Sukkah Sal Yidei Tzechishol Yotzim, L'Levei V'Sem Ben B'Yadeihem, in addition to Sukkah already pointing to this out, Sukkah itself already points to the uniqueness of the year, because one of the The Medrash explains what's the thing of going out. Lulav and Esek is a marshal of two people before a court case, and then one of them emerges. You don't know who won. So who came out victorious? You're on the outside. The guy who comes out bearing aloft his standard, his flag, so you know he won. So that's sukkah. So you didn't go out with a lulav and esrog in their hand. That's the dan notzach in the victory, the court case of Rosh Hashanah. We stand in judgment. So in addition, that's already Rosh Hashanah. But the isgalus of it is on the full isgalus is Shmini Atzeres, the Jew alone and the Eibishter. Concluding the bracket, the square brackets. What's happening? Shmini Atzeres is in addition to, he said, the Gili of Sukkot already. The Medrash says he didn't go out, emerging from the court room with the lulav and esek in the hands. There's a yodim. We know the Hindun Nitzuchya. We know that they were successful because he walks out with his standard, with his flag held up high. And so this gili of the Yivchar Lonas Nachalasenu, God's essential choice in us, which is really no choice because we're part of Him. Freedom of choice has many levels. The ultimate is His freedom from choice, not freedom to choose. Freedom from choice, because that's who I am. That's the ultimate chida. So the ba'ifan da noni be'merchavko, and then Hashem responds to us with the expansiveness of the divine. And what's the merchav? That's simcha. That's the simcha. The simchas Torah. So this is all affected. That noni be'merchavko is revealed when through the simcha of simchas Torah be'ifan sheperetzes kol and we break all boundaries. Simcha breaks all boundaries. Now comes a Meredike Bracha Yidin. Kailal, including Gam also. Sheyumshich HaKol Hashana Kula, that should be drawn on the whole year. Ha'inyan, the Simcha Shal Mitzvah, Simcha in doing a mitzvah, the Simcha Shal Torah, and Simcha in learning of Torah. When there's joy that brings success in Torah study and in the performance of mitzvahs. And through this we merit the fulfillment of God's promise that if you will walk in my statutes, and actually explains toiling in Torah, not just a casual study, but a toil. And if you keep my mitzvahs, Hashem promises, Azai, then I will give the rains in the right time, and so on. All the brachas enumerated in Parshas B'chakaisai, including, and I will lead you upright, Begula Midis Vashlema, Al Yedei Mashiach Tzidkeinu, Bekorev Mamash, the true and complete redemption from Mashiach Tzidkeinu, Bekorev Mamash, absolutely very near. Amen. Okay, I don't have the, can somebody post it? We could find it. Yeah, take a picture. Take a picture of the Teichna in Yonim. We'll run through it now.
I'll give it to you. I'll send it to you in a second.
Huh?
I will send it to you in a second.
Yeah, put it on the Chassidus chat. So tomorrow, Be'ez Hashem, also on Zoom. And we'll start Bereshis. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow is Wednesday. Shesh Chodesh already. Okay, Be'ez Hashem. With God's help, we'll do it. He posted Chaim. Where is he? Oh, okay, folks, let's have a look at it together. I'm just going to read it in the English because it's you follow along. So after the purification of Yidden and Yom Kippur, so Yidden have the koyach to affect the refinement, to extract and itzutzim, the sparks of holiness embedded in the nations of the world on two levels. Extracting the good from the bad, that's hallelu, and then even elevating the bad, that means the Gashmias, at least in an external peripheral way, as it augments Kedusha, again, that they will pasture your flocks, that's Shapchuhu. Explained, Hallelu is Gilu, and Shapchuhu means really a profit that's gained from them. Shvach. Ocha, brings a pasuk there that the praise comes from the last one, the latter one, the Chitzonius. The Chacham comes later and then exposes the fool. Pasuk over there in Mishlei. At any rate, so through the bitter of the nations of the world, so this causes by Yidden intensity of simcha and tainug, like the joy in all mitzvahs, and especially how much more so in the midst of tshuva, where we fix all blemishes. That's a greater simcha, like the mashal of the prince who was in captivity and then was freed to go back to his father, El Beis Aviv HaMelech. We had a Yeshleima there, the diak the base. It's the transformation of the captivity itself, of the Beis Asurim to the Beis HaMelech. So after the simcha of the 7 days of Sukkot, which is the refinement of the world, we come to the new simcha, radically new simcha. That's in the way of Yidden and the Eibishter alone, Yisrael or Malka b'chodoi. However, even this simcha affects the world, even in a greater way. That the world is completely in this battle, not just secondary, not just surrendered to. And the world itself acknowledges that there's no other truth but godliness, and the Eibishter. And in Avodah, how does this translate? Not just Kol Masach Hashem Shamayim, but B'chol Drachecha De'eyu. Every moment of his life, it's all in a relationship with Hashem, not just a means for an end. Which is higher than Kol Masach Hashem Shamayim, where you're doing what you're doing, but there's an agenda. But right now, I'm in my little world. B'chol Drachecha De'eyu is always in God's world. And so this leads to the Shleimus Abir Lasid Lavai, where this will be revealed B'tachlis and forever. Okay, that's a few broad strokes. Okay, Yidden, so
Shkoyach.
Maybe it's Hashem tomorrow. It's posted, it's on the chat. The Maimber of Shabbos Bereshis.